When is Ash Ketchum returning to the Pokémon anime? Two Japanese articles have had fans buzzing, but let's separate fact from fiction and discuss how the comeback might actually unfold. As you probably know, shortly after winning the World Championship, Ash Ketchum left the Pokémon anime and two new heroes took the lead. It was sad to say goodbye to Ash and Pikachu, but a colorful new cast with a fresh new approach to storytelling have helped the new anime stand on its own merits. And yet a lot of fans really do miss the old era of the anime. The treasure trove of cherished characters and conventions, the years of time invested in Ash's adventure, the nostalgia for our own childhoods. There were a variety of reasons why viewers were sad to let go of one of anime's classic heroes. And while Pokémon Horizons is both refreshing and wonderful, I get asked just about every day when Ash and Yellow Mickey might be coming back. So we are going to crack that question open by exposing the truth about the Japanese news stories and discussing the likely comeback scenario. To kick things off, let's clarify the contents of the interview with Kunihiko Yuyama that tricked the world. But first, a quick offer from today's sponsor, and me, because sometimes life sucks, or we simply want to better ourselves, which is why I made a class about grounding ourselves to what is good in life, which you can enjoy with a free trial over on Skillshare. Skillshare is well known for its photography, film, and drawing classes, but it's also a great place for creative people to reinvent their goals and careers. Personally, I've been self-employed, picking up skills to run the hustle from Skillshare for years now, and video making is one of the most useful skills I've ever learned. So if you're just starting out, check out DIY video production for content creators from setting up to editing by Enrico Luzzi on Skillshare, as Enrico lays out the fundamentals for creating quality videos no matter what the budget, has you cranking out videos right away in his class project, and I've put many of Enrico's tips into action myself. Whether you're into video making, pixel art, game development, manga drawing, YouTubing, writing fiction, or something else altogether, you are sure to find a class on Skillshare, and you can enjoy unlimited classes from the Skillshare library for free, since the first 1,000 people to use my link will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. So snag the free trial, best of luck skilling up, and with that said, it's back to today's chat. P.S. I would love your feedback on my class. See you there. Kunihiko Yuyama has been a key figure in the Pokémon anime since the very beginning. He was the anime's general director up until 2019, and he directed the Pokémon movies up until Tetsuo Yajima took the reins. And he even stepped in as the general director for Ash and Pikachu's final chapter, Pokémon Mezase Pokémon Master, which wrapped up just before Pokémon Horizons kicked off. And he did an interview with the Japanese magazine Otomedia for their spring 2023 issue, in which he apparently shed light on the future of Ash and Pikachu. Sure enough, as soon as the issue dropped, I saw headlines all over the place raving about it. Pokemon fans will see Ash again. Anime exec confirms. Pokemon confirms Ash's return. Pokemon anime exec confirms Ash Ketchum will return, etc, etc. But when I read the article myself, it painted a different picture altogether. So here is what Mr. Yuyama actually said. I believe that Ash, who is forever 10 years old, has always shouldered the feeling of being 10 for those who have watched him throughout his journey. While nothing lasts forever, I'm sure his travels have continued somewhere out there, and will live on in everyone's hearts. So if I were to say something to him, it would be bon voyage. I hope we meet again somewhere. There are many ways you could translate that last line into English, but basically Mr. Yuyama is expressing his own personal desire to see Ash and Pikachu again one day. And yet the line was misinterpreted by international fans and circulated as a definite statement that Ash and Pikachu would be coming back to the show. As one website phrased it, speaking to the spring 2023 issue of Otomedia magazine, Yuyama said that Ash will return in the future. No, he didn't. In fact, his words to Ash sound more like words you would say to someone you will probably never see again. In any event, dicey translations and interpretations of Yuyama's farewell to Ash proliferated the globe, even getting reverse translated from English into Japanese to confuse Japanese fans. But we can hardly blame anyone for getting the wrong idea, as back at a TV Tokyo conference in autumn, it was announced that Ash would reprise his role as the show's main character following the conclusion of Pokémon Journeys. And not just international audiences, but also Japanese audiences reading the news in its native language were sure that this meant we would see Ash and Pikachu adventure to Paldea as the heroes of the new series. However, we soon discovered that this was only a reference to Ash returning in the 11-episode capstone series Mezase Pokémon Master that bridged the gap between Journeys and Horizons. It was a big disappointment to many viewers, but just a few months later, the possibility of Ash's return was rekindled by the Japanese anime's fandom, when the website Maijutsu Enta ran a story in which they claimed to have a source on the production side of the Pokémon anime, an unnamed anime writer, who apparently told the site that dropping Ash was an attempt to rejuvenate the anime in response to the show's declining ratings, but that the ratings haven't recovered, which puts the new series Pokémon Horizons in a precarious situation. To emphasize the predicament, Maijutsu Enta pointed out that Liko and Roy's average household viewership ratings are not looking hot by any means, with the series premiere racking up a meager 2.4% according to video research. They reasoned that in addition to the loss of Ash and Pikachu, many viewers have been bored by the slow pace of the story and that the brooding and introverted Liko lacks the charisma of the cheerful and extroverted Ash Ketchum. And then their anonymous source dropped the bomb that proposals for an Ash Ketchum comeback have already been floated by impatient members of the production team desperate to revive the series. The Maijutsu Enta staff added that if the show's ratings do fail to pick up, it could potentially be terminated as early as 2 years from now based on production timelines. Lackluster TV ratings, a polarized reaction to Liko and Roy, a disgruntled production team, an emergency plan to bring Ash Ketchum back. This article is grade A copium for fans eager to see an Ash comeback sooner rather than later. But to be honest, although it is likely that the production team has discussions like this, and probably does have a contingency plan in place, I would take the Maijutsu Enta article and their unnamed source with a big fat grain of salt. Firstly, it is worth noting that the anime's TV ratings have been steadily declining for years now, despite the fact that Ash and Pikachu had always been at the helm, and even the recent highly marketable fan service festival that was Pokémon Journeys only hovered around the 2.0 mark over the course of its run. The reality that is being suppressed here is that actually the slip in ratings is largely due to the shift from traditional TV to streaming services, and you can see this slip not just with the Pokémon anime, but with virtually every other weekly anime, even the legendary Sazai-san. Netflix, Amazon Prime, sketchy Chinese websites, etc. People are finding different ways to watch their favorite shows. Furthermore, the Pokémon anime's popularity ranking against other TV shows hasn't actually dropped all that significantly over the years, and as recently as last year, it was TV Tokyo's third most profitable anime. Of course, it remains to be seen if Liko and Roy will succeed at maintaining that profitability. After all, they are trying to fill the shoes of a beloved character with 25 years of goodwill and good lore to draw on, which is no easy task in the best of circumstances. And speaking personally as someone who makes a fair bit of Pokemon anime content for YouTube, I've seen a big drop in the views of anime YouTubers virtually across the board in the past couple months, which is somewhat alarming to say the least. Of course, we are only 3 months deep into the show, and Pokémon Horizons hasn't even been released outside of Japan yet, so it might simply take a year or two to build up a dedicated viewership. Fingers crossed. So while personally I do doubt that Liko and Roy will be retired anytime soon, and while I think that both of the news bites we just discussed ended up misleading fans, I do think that an inevitable Ash Ketchum comeback is in the cards, and here's how it might happen. To be honest, I don't think there is any place for World Champion Ash in the main cast of Pokémon Horizons, because the role of experienced mentor is already taken by Freed, who essentially is an aged-up Ash Ketchum right down to the carbon copy team. Having Ash join the Rising Volt Tacklers would only destroy the focus on Liko and Roy's character arcs, as an even worse repeat of the screen time split that made Go's rapid development so tough to buy into for so many fans. Not to mention that bringing him back anytime soon would completely undo the significance of the final chapter narrative. That said, I don't think the marketing team could resist milking our nostalgia for all it's worth once the time is right, and no time is more right than a big franchise milestone. The next big date is the anime's 30-year anniversary in April 2028. The time between now and then would give Liko and Roy 2 generations worth of Pokemon games to establish themselves, and that interval would also give Ash enough time to make his absence meaningful. So you can come back to this video in 5 years and let me know what happened, but I think that an extended 30th anniversary cameo would be the perfect power play to ignite nostalgia and excitement among both longtime viewers and newer audiences. In that kind of extended cameo, Ash would likely unite with Liko and Roy, or whoever the protagonist is at the time, to face a common enemy, solve a big mystery, or participate in a tournament that showcases the world champ in all his glory. There is also the possibility that Ash and Pikachu could even be given a more significant role from the very beginning of the next generation series if there is a mentor role open to be filled. At any rate, considering the potential viewership boost, merch sales, media buzz, and reinforcement of the show's enduring cross-generational appeal, the opportunity is just too lucrative to ignore. So you can count on an Ash and Pikachu comeback. It is just a matter of when. P.S. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. And if you're interested in getting more deeply connected to Japanese pop culture and anime news with short and fun videos, then be sure to check out the secret channel I recently booted up right here. I'll see you there.